Good morning, dear students. This is Dr. Savita. I welcome you all in our next lecture of the subject Animal Ecology. In this, we have already started with the chapter number 3, that is population, and the topic characteristics of populations. As there are number of characteristics of population, so we need to spend little more time on this. So, dear students, in our previous lecture, that is lecture number 3, what we have studied? We have studied two characteristics of the population, that is fecundity. Fecundity is what? Reproductive capacity of an individual. So fecundity we have studied, as well as survivorship curve is also we have studied in our previous lecture. Now in this lecture, let's see what we are going to study. So in the present lecture, we'll be studying the age ratio as well as the sex ratio and dispersal and dispersion. Means three characteristics of population we'll study in the present lecture. This is what the survivorship curve, and it's a different types along with the example. That is first type, highly concave, shown by a human. The second type, diagonal straight curve, shown by the birds. And third type, that is highly concave, shown by lower organisms like the rotifers, or you can say trees, right? So that we studied in our previous lecture. Now let's see what we are going to study in the present lecture. So age ratio. Age ratio, relatively male female age ratio, right? It's not like the means so in every species that differs in age in most of the population, right? So age wise there is a differentiation, age wise there is a variation seen in most of the species. If you see, just like what is the age wise variation? Pre-reproductive age, that is you can say childhood or teenage, then reproductive age, that is adult age, and then post-reproductive age, nothing but the old age, right? So this age wise differentiation is there in most of the species, that is known to everybody, right? So the age structure of a population is the proportion of the organism in each age group. The age ratio of a population at various age groups is determined the reproductive ability of the population, right? So what is that? The age ratio of a population at various age groups determine the reproductive ability of the population. Growing populations has more percentage of young individual, and in declining population there is a large number of old age individuals. This is very important terminology, my dear students. You should keep in mind, you should remember this point, right? So what is the declining population? Declining population is the population in which the old age people, old age group is more. Whereas a growing population is the population in which what? Young individuals are more. Very good. Now, this percentage or this ratio is varies with the different organism. In different individuals, different type of examples, you can observe different ratio. This variation means the reproductive stage, growing stage, as well as old age stage, they are variable in different species, different organisms, right? Yes. So there are three major functional or ecological age groups, which are the ecological groups? Reproductive group, even pre-reproductive group. Young one is said to be pre-reproductive, and post-reproductive group, right? Let's see the pyramid showing all this, right? So the age pyramid, what is basically the age pyramid? So different age groups proportions of the population represent geometrically is referred to as a age pyramid. What is age pyramid? Age pyramid is what? Different age group proportions, like you can say pre-reproductive or teenage, then reproductive, that is adult age, then post-reproductive, that is old age. So these age groups, they are represented in the form of a geometric way, or geometrically they are represented. So that is said to be, that representation is said to be the age pyramid, right? So on the basis of representation of different age groups into a age pyramid, that is in a geometric way, there are three main age pyramids are. The first one is the pyramid with broad base, or it is also called as a triangular structure. Then second one is a bell-shaped polygon, okay? And then third pyramid is a urn-shaped polygon, or a urn-shaped pyramid, right? So on the basis of age pyramid, or on the basis of number of individual belong to which group, whether it is a pre-reproductive, whether it is a reproductive, or it is an old age group. So the population or age pyramids are of three types: pyramidal type, bell-shaped type, and urn-shaped type, right? Let's see how these three types of the pyramids they appear. Yes, here is the diagram showing all the three pyramids. So young population is what? Pre-reproductive. Stable, or you can say this pyramid, triangular pyramid is of the young population. Stable pyramid shows a little bell population or bell-shaped pyramid. Then declining population shows what? Yes, it is urn-shaped, we can say pyramid, right? Now what they represent, here you can see the dark color, dark black color is what? The pre-reproductive age group, means what? It is the young ones, okay? So teen age group is there included in this pre-reproductive stage. Then reproductive stage is represented by cross lines. So whatever cross lines are there, so that is said to be reproductive age group. And then post-reproductive age group, which is just above the reproductive. So ultimately this proportion is what? Young one, adult, and old. Pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive age groups. Now let's see which are the three types of the age pyramids. Okay, so the first age pyramid is there, that is the pyramid with the broad base. Here the pyramid with the broad base, that is called as a triangular structure. Now let's see what characteristics it shows. So it is rapidly growing population. What is it? This first triangular type of a pyramid is a rapidly growing population. Yes, rapidly growing population. Even the young individuals in this case are more. Okay, so what it shows, this dark black color, what it shows, solid color, is the pre-reproductive, means what? Young individuals. So you can say as the broad base is there, so as compared to this is again declining, means the reproductive is showing to be less in number, and old age is again very less as compared to the young members. So in this case, so in the first triangular pyramid, that is the pyramid with the broad base, what is more? The young members are more, young population is more in this case, right? And each generation is more numerous than the previous one. So the pyramid shows a broad base because of the young population. This pyramid shows broad base. So for example, yeast cells, in which the young or growing stages are more, even the houseflies as well as many other protozoans, they shows this kind of a pyramid, that is young, in which the young population is more. Okay, then the second one is a bell-shaped pyramid or bell-shaped polygon. So this bell-shaped polygon, it is called as a bell-shaped. It is not exactly the straight line triangular, no, it is little curved, so it forms a bell-shaped structure, bell-shaped pyramid. Now what characteristic it shows, let's see. So bell-shaped polygon, it is the pyramid in which population shows equal number of young and the middle age group individuals. So the pre-reproductive and reproductive individuals are almost same in number, and post-reproductive individuals are remain smaller as compared to the reproductive and pre-reproductive individual. So because the number of reproductive and pre-reproductive individuals are almost the same in number, so there is a bell-shaped appearance, that gives a bell-shaped appearance. And post-reproductive individuals, as they are less in number, so the age of the pyramid is declined quickly, right? So it gives a bell-shaped appearance to the pyramid, and it is almost stationary, or you can say stable pyramid, stable population. Why it is stable population? Because the young ones are more, equally the reproductive stages are also more, so the population is said to be the stable or stationary one, right? And the population again grows slowly in this case. Okay, so the last pyramid is said to be the urn-shaped pyramid. Let's see what are the characteristics of this urn-shaped pyramids. It is also called as a declining population. This is said to be the urn-shaped pyramid. Okay, so it is declining population. Okay, and it indicates the low percentage of young individual. The young individual. Now, okay, low percentage of young individual when the birth rate is drastically reduced, that is pre-reproductive group is very less than other two age groups, so population is said to be the declining one. Now you may ask a question that, or in anybody else mind, the question may arise as like, here the, if you see the base of the pyramid is same, here is also the same, here is also the same, and in fact here you can see the little larger base you can imagine. Then how you can see in case of the first triangular shaped pyramid, the number of population, number of young individuals are more. Here is almost similar to that of the reproductive and pre-reproductive stage, and here is the number of individuals are declined or less as compared to the reproductive and post-reproductive. How? It is in proportion with the previous two curves, right? It is in proportion with what? These two, post-reproductive and reproductive individual. The number of pre-reproductive individuals, that is young individuals, are less as compared to this one, reproductive stages, as compared to post-reproductive stages, right? It is not in proportion with the previous younger stages. What is the proportion exist in this case? The proportion of the young individual with the reproductive stages and post-reproductive stages. Here is also the proportion is exist between the pre-reproductive, reproductive and the post-reproductive. So as compared to these two, the population of this pre-reproductive is always more. And here is also as compared to the, yes, post-reproductive and reproductive, the population of pre-reproductive is somewhat equal with the reproductive number of individuals. Now here in this case declining population, as the number of post-reproductive or old age individual is more, right? It is more, and compared with that the number of reproductive individuals are also more, but here there is no such a big curve, big bell is been observed in the pre-reproductive individual. So as compared to previous you can say post-reproductive and reproductive individual, the number of pre-reproductive individual is less, right? So in this case, as the old age group is more, so the population is said to be the declining one. If you remember here what we have made a statement, the statement was the age ratio of a population at various age groups determines the reproductive ability of the population, right? Growing population has more percentage of young individuals, and in declining population there is large number of old age groups. So here in the declining, this population is what? Declining, where the large number of old age, that is post reproductive individuals are there, right? Okay, now let's move ahead and see what is there in our next slide. Okay, the next characteristic is the sex ratio, right? So the sex ratio of a population is the ratio of number of males in relation to the females, right? The number of males in relation to the females. So as per Fisher's principle, Fisher is said to be the scientist who put forth the principle to explain the characteristic of a population, right? So in most of the sexually reproducing species, there is the sex ratio usually 1:1. The factors affecting the sex ratio are, see, number of factors are there which affect the sex ratio, right? So okay, so the factors that affect the sex ratio, number of factors are there. See, like birth rate, even the death rate, even the immigration, and other factors are there. So how the factors, means number of factors, they are going to show their influence on the sex ratio. How the birth rate is going to show influence on the sex ratio? Yes, for this case we can take an example of a human being. See, birth of the baby child, girl child, is often reduced in India. Nowadays this situation is been changed, right? But if you go back few years back, like 10 to 15 years back, the birth of the baby child, means a girl baby child, was quite restricted. People used to abort them, and because of this, what happened? Because of that, the number of baby girl child is been reduced, it's been declined as compared to the number of baby boys, right? So ultimately the population of the male is little more as compared to the population of the woman, right? So this, in this way, the birth rate is also going to show its impact on the sex ratio, right? Even the death rate, right? So as already the birth rate was affecting, so the people may dies at any stage because of any reason, maybe the physiological reason, maybe the external natural calamities, or maybe the some genetic reason is there, right? So people can die at any stage of the age, so that again shows its impact on the sex ratio. So number of male and female, they are again means not in proportion exactly. So immigration is one of the uh, uh, factor that affect the sex ratio. Immigration, entering inside the population. So particularly if the people from outside, they are entering, means suppose males are entering into the specific locality, so number of male in that particular locality is going to increase. If the females, they are entering into the population, getting transferred from somewhere else, so that again going to show impact on the sex ratio of that particular locality. Even immigration, going out, right? So suppose peoples, they are migrating from that specific locality because of any reason, for the job, for the ecological benefit, or anything else. If the people, they are migrating from that particular locality, so again the number of male female or any kind may going to decline, so that again shows impact on the sex ratio, right? So number of things are there which shows their impact on the sex ratio, right? And um some social animals that does not show 1:1 ratio, as they reproduce by parthenogenesis genetically. Okay, so this 1:1 ratio is shown by maximum animal, but few insects, for example, we can say the insects are there like like honeybees, ants, or aphids. They do not show the 1:1 sex ratio, because maximum, most of them, they are reproduced by parthenogenetically. Aphid is not the social insect, only the bees and ants, they are social insect, right? But just an example is what? Example is that in these animal, bees, ants, and aphid, the sex ratio is not fulfilled. Why? Because they are reproducing parthenogenetically. Some generations, some individuals, they are produced by parthenogenetically. Okay, so my dear students, we have to stop at this point, and the next property, that is dispersal and dispersion, will continue in our next lecture.